We've also got a clock which you can set the time, and then further menu as well. I don't want to go too deep into that because there's a lot of stuff in there. I don't want to confuse you, but obviously I want to make sure you're happy on how this part works. Okay, you're happy with that?
Yeah,
there is videos, if you go on YouTube, look for videos, look for Truma, combi boiler. There's some good videos from Truma themselves, just on the explanation of how to work it. No, not technical. There probably is technical videos on there, but how to use it, straightforward videos.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's your heating in hot water. What we'll do, we'll come back to this control panel again now, because there's obviously other bits involved in that. So control panel was asleep. So that's your water pump. I had a word about that one. So pressed it twice. So that's your light. So that's the light outside.
Yeah.
Again, that's the board. If the border's lit up, that means the light's on.
Yeah.
Same with the pump. Obviously lit up the border. They're the only two that do that. The other button we've got is lighting. So what we've got is dimmable lights at the front here, which is on the dimmer side 2, and above the bed, dimmer side 1. So they're individually switched, but I can switch it on and off from there as well. So there's that one going off. Or you can change the level of the dim on it. You can also do that via your app. So obviously the same as the ones at the back. Well, I can switch it off. See that one going off now, or switch it on and put it at different levels if you want to. Alright. Home button, that brings us back to the main screen. Power. So if you see up here, there's this battery icon, looks very similar to like a phone battery. That just gives you a rough idea of where the battery is. If you've got electric connected, you're not going to need to worry too much about that. But if you are off grid, then obviously it's very important. So if you look at actual power, you actually see the voltage of it. Once it starts dropping low down, so say between 11 and 12 volts, things will stop working.
Right.
Okay, the lights may still work, but igniters need a certain amount of power on the boilers and the fridge. So that's showing 14.3 volts. You'd expect to see around about a 12 volt for a 12 volt battery. What that is the charger's pushing more power into it to charge it. So if you had a solar panel, that would be showing that there, but obviously on this level, unless you've had one fitted, is not part of the van. And then vehicle, so it'll actually show you power from what the vehicle is. If you've got the vehicle still attached on site, you can actually draw 12 volts. If you've got that wiring on your car, you can actually start drawing the 12 volts from there. But you're going to do that, you're going to flat the battery on the car, you're in trouble. And obviously, and again, there's further area. So when you're on site, so what we're looking at here is setting a limit on what ampage we're drawing. On site, you connect to a bollard. If you switch too many electrical things on, it's likely to trip that bollard. So depending on what site you're on, some you can be as low as 10 amp, quite a few now are 16 amp. You switch too many things on, it will trip that bollard. And then if you've got to go and wander off to the warden to find someone who can re-trip it for you, obviously they're very happy to come and do that, especially if it's raining. But what you can do, if you've got this will actually control the heating as well. So on the, if I just come back out of there, see heating there. So if you had this controlling that and you went to that, where's it gone? Power. So if you go to there, you can actually set a limit. So if you know the bollard is that low, 5 amp,
you can change it. Yeah,
you can drop it down to that. Or, it depends on where you are. So 10 amps usually around about average for this country, up to 16 amp. If that level there, which is the usage at the moment, let's just shut the boiler down. If that's, I just spotted that. I wonder why that current has just gone down. So it might be actually doing it now. So if it's gone above that limit, it will actually start shutting the boiler down on the kilowatts. So say you had, for example, a kettle, you switch the kettle on, it went above that limit, it will shut the power down on the boiler and for that period of time, and then
put it back on
kettle
again.
clicks back on, it comes back up again. Okay, otherwise it's off and you have to be careful. Right, heating, so I'll just come back on there. Did I hit timer? No. So what was happening then? So what we got on heating, so what we got in the mode at the moment, it says manual, so we're controlling the heating from its own control panel. If we stick onto timer, that then will actually tell it what to do. Okay, but obviously if you want to use it on there, you'll have to switch it back to manual if you did have it on timer. Or you've got the if I just switch it to timer now, you've got an jump back out. we've got an override. So if you had it on timer, so you can do this from the app as well. So say you had the timer, it's coming on, say 4 o'clock to be warming up for 5. You coming back now, you don't really want to start playing timers. Either you can switch it back to manual, or you could just set an override temperature. So that will start up now, kind of thing, and then warming up, and then so you're not changing your timer settings. It will jump on the override, then once it gets to the timer side of it, it will switch back to timer. But most of the time,
manual.
You just set that heating up, get it ticking over all day on low if you wanted to, and it keeps it nice and warm. Okay, settings. On there we can see clock time, day, year, screen brightness. So tap on that, this screen brightness. So set in whatever percentage you want. Screen timeout, same again. The screen will go dark after a certain amount of time. And this is to do with pairing and delete. That's to do with Bluetooth connection for your app, which we'll go through in a second once I've finished all this lot. Radio. So previous caravans had a radio and a CD player. This is now, if we just have a look in here, it's just got a unit, a module. Okay, so that's your radio as such. It's controlled from up here, or your app. You've also got an auxiliary in. So if you want to connect an iPhone or a tablet or whatever, you can connect it to the side of that and you can play it through the system. Alright. So mode wise, at the moment we're on FM, DAB. So we've got DAB on there as well. Have you used DAB before?
Oh, I've got it on car, but I'm not tuning it.
So with DAB you've got groups or ensemble, as it possibly says there. So if I just do that, it'll scan. So when you move your van from different positions, you have to rescan it, and it'll pick up local ones or whichever ones you want to do. So if I just tap on that, this is just the one group. So it's got there all the stations just for that one group. You can scan for a few different groups. There we go. So that's the local one now. So you can see we've now got 2 groups there. And if I wanted to go back to that group and see if I wanted to play any of the stations from there. And then we've also got, tap it again, that's the auxiliary. So that's the port in there, or off. We've also got the volume. And then if I go further, it's got the the controls for the volume and things like that. The one I like is the loudness button. I'm not sure exactly what that does, but normally that's the volume button, but the loudness, I quite like the look of that one. Okay, so obviously your volume, your scan, your presets as well. And then if I tap it again, it should say off. Okay, so that's radio off. Then the last one, it'll actually talk to the fridge as well. So you can see we've got settings here, which I'll run through with the fridge when we look at the fridge in a second. Setting is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is setting for how cold it is. And then temperature, it just tells you it's cold or it's too warm. That's all it is. There's nothing to set on that. It just tells you where the fridge is at as such. Then running across the top, we've got temperature in the room, temperature outside, humidity. Not sure why you need to know what humidity it is, but it's got that on there. It's got your clock and your time and date. Little flash, that's to say we've got electric connected, and then that's your leisure battery there. Okay. While we're still up here, what we got here is a little keypad. If you subscribe to Tracker, that is how you arm the tracker. Oh, I think you just leaned against the fridge. You are quite sensitive buttons, so just be careful if you brush past it. It will just beep at you just to let you know you've just touched it. So with that, it's a 4-digit number, which I don't want to put on there. You can change that. So it's a 4-digit number. Press on. 4-digit number. Press off. You can change that once you subscribe. You can change that to a different number, which is probably recommended to do. Otherwise, everybody's got the same number, and so on. Obviously, gotten on to that. Please remember to obviously disarm it before you start driving down the road with it, because if you have got the tracker set up, it will let you know. Oh, by the way, your caravan's being nicked. So they'll be ringing you up. Okay, right. So we'll just have a look at the consumer unit now, which is just sitting under here. Which is obviously always good to start fighting the cushions. Oh God, my back's going. Oh, yeah. Right, long day. Right, so consumer unit, which is this unit here. That's where all your, you can see there, all the electrics are controlled from. So this side is the 240 side, that side is your 12 volt side. Heating and hot water. That, you remember that the little plug on the right hand side of your black screen there?
Yeah.
That needs to be switched on and electric connected. Then that's switching power electrics available to use for your boiler. but you have to select it. Charger switch, so unless your charge unit there, that's switched on, electric connected, it will charge your battery. 240 trips, so it should be, it says hopefully, an info note there, what's connected to your 240 trips, what's connected to your 12 volt fuses, which is in that side. Okay, alongside each of these LEDs, there are LEDs, which will glow red if that fuse is gone, so it's a good indication. They are the same as car fuses, so exactly the same. You know, the blade fuse, you can get them from Halfords or anywhere. The one on the end, is you see that nice green light against, that's a charger fuse. If I just switch that off, so if you haven't got any power to the van, or you haven't switched the charger switch on, or you've tripped the bollard even, that little light won't be on, or the fuse is gone. So that's that green light indicates. What we've also got is a system shutdown button. That shuts down the 12 volt systems. So if you're in storage, you want to try to protect your battery and how much power you've got in it, you can switch that off, and that will help slow down the drain down on your battery. What it also does, it's very similar to a shutdown on the computer. So the system that operates the Swift command, if you switch that off, you will not be able to talk to it. So you won't be able to talk to it remotely if that's been switched off. Okay, also we've got down here, that is your pump. So the water pump that drives, excuse me a minute. It's only a salesman, but not the one I should be talking to at the moment. Right. Water pump, so that draws the water from your Aquaroll into your tap system. That is a surge damper, that stops the water hammer, so when you open and shut the tap, it doesn't go bang, 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 and starts pushing pipes all over the place. That's your boiler in the corner, and what you've also got hidden down the side of this side of the consumer unit is the blue box, which is your motor mover control box.
Okay.
Alright, so you shouldn't need to play with that, but it's there, so you know where it is. Okay, right, next thing we've got is fridge, so we'll concentrate on the kitchen area next. So on off button there, you have to be pretty accurate and press and hold to switch it on, press and hold to switch it off.
Which one is that one? The big one, yeah.
Yeah. So what we've also got is a selection of energy. So to select the energy, it's this arrow button, left or right. So we're on gas at the moment, we can go to electric, and go to auto function. Auto function looks for the best energy, which is electric. If that's not available, it will search out gas. And gas or electric not available, it'll look for the 12 volt. The 12 volt is coming from the car. So as long as you've got that wiring in your vehicle, but that's only for travelling. So it only goes when the engine's running.
Okay.
Okay. It will not cool your fridge down, it will just maintain the temperature that's in the fridge. So if you want a cool fridge as you're travelling, you need to cool it down, say, overnight before or 24 hours before. Then when you start your engine, you can switch it over to battery, and that will maintain it as you're travelling along then. Okay. So what we've also got is this side of it, that is your temperature range as such. So all 5 lit, that's the coldest setting. So if it's coming out frozen butter, then obviously it's too cold. So you can reduce it, so that just goes round, 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 round. So 2 or 3 is around about average for this country. It depends on how cold or warm it is outside, to how much it needs to work, or how hard it needs to work. So what I'm now going to show you, I'm just going to select battery, and that's going to show you failure, because I know the car's not there. So it's failing because it knows the energy is not available.
Yeah.
If it's doing that on the gas, it means the gas has failed to light.
Right.
If the gas has failed to light, there's maybe 2 or 3 reasons for that. 1, you haven't turned the gas on. 2, you haven't got any gas. So you could just fire your cooker up just to see you have got gas. And otherwise it may just be a bit of air in the system. So all you need to do is reset it. So to reset it, you press and hold the grey button until you hear 1 beep. Take your finger off. You see that's trying to reset then?
Yeah.
Obviously it's not going to reset because there's no 12 volt there for it. Okay, so that will reattempt to light the gas then. It may need it 2 or 3 times, because what it's trying to do is purge air out of the system. So if you changed a gas cylinder recently, or you haven't used it on gas for a while, it gets a bit of air in the system and it needs to purge out. So after 2 or 3 it should stay lit. Otherwise, to select gas, you just select gas and it will light it for you. Okay, well, I'll put it, so just fired up then, I'll put it back to electric for now. Okay, to open it, you just push down that button, it opens the door. This little contraption down here, so if you push, as you're pushing against the wall and slide it towards you, that is a little mechanism to hold the door open if you're in storage, so it allows air to circulate. So make sure, if you're not going to use it for a while, make sure it's clean and allow the air. You can just leave the door open if you wanted to, allow the air to circulate, otherwise mold and mildew can build up. Just make sure you push it back before you use it, otherwise the door won't shut and it won't be cooling down. You can, with this also, So the other thing that gets mildew around is this seal here. You can actually take all of this out and put it in the sink in storage, so that allows that to breathe. Then you can close the door if you want to. Some people wedge that open, probably not so advisable, but because you can actually take it out. So you can see there it's got a little diagram there how to take it out. You can take that out and use it as a taller fridge if you wanted to. If you didn't want the ice box, you can actually use it as a tall fridge as well. Okay. Right, next we'll go for microwave because that's just above. Big button opens it. Do not travel with glass plating. If that comes down and drops on here, it's going to be tears and destruction. So I'm just going to sneak it there for now. But my wife tends to put it in a bowl with a tea towel wrapped around it, stops it bouncing around and rattling around. So when you're travelling. So microwave operation, that does nothing on its own. Okay, so press the microwave button once. That does your power then, 100%, 50% or whatever percentage wise you want to set it. Can't see anybody actually using 10% on the heating. Oh, you just showed on the spanner. I'll show you what that's for after. Right, if you press the microwave button the second time, you can then turn that for seconds, so 5, 10, 15, 20 or whatever, all the way up to the minutes. Then press start, away you go. Or quick start on the start button, goes up in minute increments, 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, and you can start straight away. Okay, cooker next. So we got on this obviously we've got gas, we've got an igniter there, a igniter button. So all you do is just turn, press and hold, press the igniter button. If you just change your gas bottle or whatever, you might just need to hold it a bit longer to get the gas to go through. But obviously at the same time as igniting it, don't obviously just hold that open and wait for the gas to come through, because it might come through and then you go boom as soon as you hit that. So another very important thing is, I don't even see that diagram because it's quite dark behind it. Do not put that down when there's heat there. Let it cool down before you put that down, because that will explode into tiny little pieces if it's really hot. Okay, grill. It's got this little flange that pops out. I always forget when I'm using my grill, and because what that's there for is to protect these from the heat that's coming up for the grill. Yeah. If you've left it in that position, they're likely to melt. I always forget, so always pull that out before you start using the grill, because I'm there going out and trying to find a tea towel or whatever to drag it back out. So don't forget about that. Grill pan inside, that handle's just in there for you. It also ignites from this button here as well, if you can hear that. So if it goes off when you take your finger off, light it again and press and hold it longer. So hold say 10 seconds, it should stay lit after that. Oven, same again. Hold it for 10 seconds, and it should stay lit. Obviously as long as you've got gas and it's switched on. Okay. Right, I'll have a look at the bathroom now, because obviously that's a really tight place to get into. So light switches are sitting cleverly down the side of here. See that there? And that one is for above the lockers in the bedroom. That one is there. So you can see, imagine when we first got in and we just switched the water pump on, and that was facing that way. And we didn't think, we forgot about it, left the water pump on, come to open the door, which I've done once. Right, so make sure that tap is closed, make sure that tap is closed before you start the water as well. The toilet, you can see from there, it looks a funny position at the moment. So I'm going to have to get in here, which is rather tight. So it's a swivel toilet. It's cleverly designed to fit into the most compact spaces you can imagine, so you can get your legs in. So it does move around. So to use it, what we've got, this is really awkward. You see that grey lever down the side of the toilet there? You see that?
Oh yeah.
You do it slides, so it opens that. Remember the wastegate?
Yeah.
So that is now open. So before you use it, open that, use it, flush it. So that button there, if you hear that noise, that normally means your flush tank's empty. You're going to have to put some more pink and water in. So flush it. Once you've flushed it, close it back up again. Okay? So you don't want it, obviously stops the smells coming through. That is the important thing when you're trying to get that waste container out.
Yeah.
That is what you want to do.
Make sure it's there.
What you also want to do, if you're the person going to empty that, make sure whoever's left in here knows that you are going to empty that, because they're just going to drop it into whatever's not there. So yes, you do not want to do that. What we've also got on the top here, look, see that little, what looks like the waste container, if you can see that.
Yeah.
There's a little light behind that. You remember that little float that's in the waste container? So when it's full, you will see a red light come up behind there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So not that you can't see by looking down there how full it is, but if a little red light turns up there, that's what you need to do.
Okay.
And the best thing to do is make sure that is not full just before you go to bed, because I've done it before now. I'd 3 girls at the time, and 2 o'clock in the morning I was going across to empty it, and it was like, this is not pleasant. Definitely not. Right, TV point, I've just realised it's just hiding behind here. So, you've got the TV bracket point there, aerial point at the top of that bracket there, you've got 12 volt and you've got 240, or 240s I should say. And then TV aerial, I think it should be in the wardrobe. So if you have a look behind us, yeah. So what this has got is what is called a directional aerial. So you have what you do, have a look, see where everybody else is pointing their aerial. That gives you a good clue which way you need to point your aerial. If you, obviously, as long as they're getting a signal. If I just pop it here, you get this. So what you've got is a locking nut. Loosen that off, then that slides up, and you can turn it round. Okay, that little indicator there, as it says here, is facing the direction of travel, which is that way. Is also the front of the aerial, so you can see where everybody's pointing there. Gives you a clue which way it's facing. Okay, when you get it in position, lock it off. You can change the angle of the top of it by spinning this around. So you can see there, it's got a little H for horizontal, obviously V for vertical. The worst thing is that cable there always gets in the way. So it's vertical now, it'll be tipped up in that angle. If everybody else is doing that, the likelihood they've got a signal. But make sure you bring it down before you go home. So bring it back into the horizontal position, slacken it off, loosen it, bring it down, lock it off, that's then ready to travel home. What you've also got is this amplifier here. So on off button is just above there. You need that switched on when you're obviously using the TV out, that amplifies the signal to get a better signal. If you're in an area where it's not a good signal anyway, you will struggle. So if you're in a valley or something like that, where you'd normally struggle to get a TV signal anyway, this will probably be the same. Well, I haven't been to many places where this type of aerial doesn't. Right. Well, that's apart from one which was in Buxton, which is in the bottom of a quarry, or an old quarry, not in use quarry. It'd be a bit strange parking the caravan in a quarry, but okay. So I think that's everything now. Handbook, obviously very important. That shows you everything. It may show a few other different heating systems and things like that as well. But obviously that's a good read if you're struggling to sleep. But if you're struggling, obviously YouTube, very good. There's a lot of videos on there that can keep you happy for a while. Also there's other bits in the pack as well. So there's other information in there, and your plugs. If I can write that out. So your plugs, your sink in your bathroom. Got a 12 volt plug. I'm not sure why they keep supplying these things now, but if you're off grid, the only thing you're going to use is 12 volt. You're not going to be able to plug into the 240 sockets, which is obviously the only one you've got is there, I think. Have you got anything on front of this one? No. Obviously it's not front chest one. And what you've also got, this little blue tool here. So on the front of this van is a plug you plug into the back of your car that works the lights and everything else. If you misalign it, you cannot get it back in. So I don't know if you ever used a 13 pin before, what happens is that obviously you've got 13 pins in the centre of the plug. That plugs in, and then the outer one locks in. Yeah. If you don't fully turn it left before you pull it, you can misalign it by a fraction and you cannot get it to go back in. That is a tool to realign it. So on the plug on the caravan, that realigns it. So do not leave that at home, because I had one customer who did that. They were on site, they rang up, I can't get the plug in. I said, where's that blue tool? It's at home. Taking all this pack out, chucked it at home. Take that with you. Do not leave that behind. Put it in the car or put it somewhere.
That'll be alright in here.
But keep it with you, because there likely will be people on site that will have that anyway. But it's a bit embarrassing going, oh, I've done that. Alright. Okay, is there anything you're happy with? Everything? Obviously, everything is all new to you, as in caravanning. There's a lot of other stuff. Obviously, we haven't done the app yet. There's a lot of other stuff you'll learn, but the basics, once you get into it, half an hour you will have this set up. Not necessarily awning, I wouldn't say awning, but after about half an hour you will have this set up, watering, kettle on or whatever, and heating running. Quite easy in half an hour.
We'll see.
Yeah, you will do. Once you get used to it, once you get into a routine, you do that, done. But awning obviously takes a little bit longer. Yeah. But if you are getting an awning, obviously it's quite handy to have for that extra space outside. Yeah, good. Don't think that you have to do everything all at the same time. Yeah. Get your van set up, especially the first few times. Get your van set up, I tend to carry my own in the boot of the car because it's not in my way. Get the caravan set up, sit down. We tend to try and turn up around about lunchtime kind of time. So we get the caravan set up, have our lunch, have a rest, depending on how stressful your journey's been. Then think about doing the awning. Don't try and do it all together, because especially when you're new to it.
Yeah.
It can get a bit stressful.
We'll be right.
But
Eventually. You're right.
Once you get in, set up, relaxed, then we'll have a go at the awning.
Okay. Marvellous. That's what we'll do.
Okay.
Can I turn this off now?
Yeah. Well, what we'll do, if we just go for the app now. What type of phone have you got?
I've got
Have you got an Android or
an Android.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. I've been having iPhones recently and they've all been struggling a bit.
Get this phone out. It would be in the inside pocket, wouldn't it?
Oh, always in an awkward place. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to settings. And what we're going to do first is pair it up. Okay, so if you go to your Bluetooth, just press on Bluetooth and hold it. Yeah, press on Bluetooth and hold it.
You want me to scan?
Yeah. Okay, so I press pair on here, and you've got scanning. Yeah, it should come up Swift BLE. We're looking at. Is it scanning?
Yeah, it's scanning.
Oh yeah. There we go. Swift BLE. Just tap on that. So this is only just you pair it up first time. Yeah. And that should jump up hopefully. Is it doing it?
Go to this device app to pair with it.
Oh right, okay then. I've never seen that one before, but here we go. So if you got the app,
Where's the app?
well, there's two apps, so we hopefully got the right app. It should be like a blue icon.
Yeah. Oh, it's not. It's a
Oh
green
no,
one.
it's a green one. You got the wrong one.
Right.
That's last year's. We need the red. Red? Where do I get red from?
No.
Blue. We want blue.
He talks like that.
I do.
That with random words.
I don't know
What
why.
we can install.
Yeah, this control panel is new for this year, so they have to have a new app to.
Oh, good grief.
So we need to go to.
Where's my app store? Can I
App
find
Store,
the
yeah.
app store now? There we go.
Yeah, it's unusual. If it's it wants you to pair up via the app, which is unusual on Android. The Apple phone does. Any of the iPhones do.
But it's the blue one now.
Yes, it should be 2019. That's the one. Yeah. Luckily, it doesn't take too long to install them ones.
Open.
So, that's a layer.
Allow.
Right, just press the green on the left. Connect to device. What's it saying, Phil? Connect Bluetooth,
blue.
please. Do you want to go back into your
Okay.
phone again? I was quite surprised it didn't pair up when it went on your Bluetooth. Personal. Swift BLE is there. What's it saying?
Go to the app.
Go to the
Okay.
app. Right, go back to the app then.
No.
I was going to say normally it's straightforward. Isn't it? That's why I was saying, oh good, it's Android. Connect to device. Well, that's odd. Why is it not doing that?
Might have to try it with my iPhone.
Yeah, there's iPhone we didn't have fun with. I can understand why that. It's still hang on. I'll have to
this
pair, hang on, you can see it's not paired up. So you should come up there. We'll tap on the Swift BLE. Yeah, strange that. Alright. No.
No, it keeps failing.
What phone is it?
Just
Yeah,
try mine.
highway, what they call them.
Yeah.
Worry.
Ooh, cancel.
I wonder if that's what to do with it.
It should be. It's never.
I know it's an Android, so it shouldn't. Yeah.
Just try
Doesn't
mine.
it? Doesn't.
Yes, an
Well,
iPhone.
I know, but
one sec. If I just,
is this
I
on
just want to try.
No,
I
it's
just,
still going.
yeah. Well, I'll just connect to mine. 'Cause I know mine's connect. 1 second, just unpair the last one. So just seeing if it's something that's with the system or. Hang on, let me just show if I can get
Okay.
mine. Then if mine will pair. No, mine doesn't want to pair now. No. can see it's there, but it doesn't want to connect. No, mine's the same. So if anything, it may